Okay. All right, bear with me because I might have to stop on occasion to let some more people in, but it looks like we have mostly everybody on board. So this afternoon, we're going to be learning about the Forever Concierge program, which is one of my favorite tools that the company provides to us. In short, it is a branded to you platform that you can use for all of your clients, past and present, and it provides great value to them. It's a pretty unique tool that, not a lot of other brokerages out there have access to. And essentially what it does is kind of twofold. There is the MoveEasy half of the program, which will help your clients with the moving process. So it will provide them access to moving companies, utility providers. It will give them a checklist, lots of good stuff to help them walk through the sometimes very complicated process of moving. Now, keep in mind, this isn't just for buyers, because chances are if you have a seller, they're going to need to be moving someplace as well. So the program will invite both types of clients, and you can choose to add anyone individually that you want to as well. So the second half of the program is built around the lifetime of your client, which is why it's called Forever Concierge. So even after they have bought their new home and moved and taken care of all of that, this program has a whole list of vendors that they can look up for maintenance or home improvements for the entire time that they own that home. And it will have their own vendors in here, but you also are given the opportunity to enter whoever your preferred vendors are. Now, so that's the forever part. The concierge part is kind of the coolest aspect of this program, in that any one of your clients who opt in with their invitation and become part of the Forever Concierge will be assigned a real live concierge person that is accessible to them at all times to help them with whatever it is they need. For example, when someone is moving and trying to figure out who the cable provider is locally and wants to get, internet set up before they move or for the day of they move, instead of calling all the different cable providers, staying on hold, wasting their time, they can request that their concierge do that for them. And the concierge will actually shop around to the different utility companies. They'll be the ones sitting on hold, and they will let your client know, hey, there's only one option in your area, so I've got it set up for you. Or here, there are multiple options. Which one is best for you? And they'll get that set up. So it's a really comprehensive program that takes a lot of the weight off of us as well as realtors, because we all know how much time we spend, looking up vendors to recommend to our clients, or trying to figure out what utilities are at that house. I just had one that closed last week where everyone swore up and down Atlantic City Electric was the electric provider, but when we called Atlantic City Electric, they had no record of the property address at all. So we were able to get Forever Concierge involved to help us kind of figure that out, rather than myself or my client wasting our time as we were getting ready for closing. So that's kind of the program in a nutshell. And in order to access it, you're going to go where you always go, which is to your ACE dashboard here. And the easiest way for most people is just to use this search bar across the top. You can type in any part of the name of the program, so either Forever or Concierge, and it will come up down here. And as you can see, it's telling you the Forever Concierge is located under the promotion tab in ACE. So if you remember that, then rather than using the search bar, you would just click the pink promotion tab and Forever Concierge would be located there. So this icon that you're seeing here is access to your dashboard. And right below that, you're going to see that there is a program overview. Okay, so if we click on that first, it's just going to tell you a little bit about what the program is. There is a video hosted here through YouTube from our company that explains the program. So you can actually use this video to share either on your social media or with your clients, past or present, that are thinking about using it. It has a little description of how you get started, which obviously I'm going to walk you through, but if you need a reminder, you can come back here. There is a recorded webinar here. It's about a half hour long or so. So if you need a refresher at any point, you can pop back in here and watch that webinar. And then it explains the 3 different ways to invite your clients. Again, I will walk you through this. There is a frequently asked questions section. And then here is your email if you need help from someone at the program itself. So everyone make a note of that. It's help@moveeasy.com. And that's something to keep in mind as well, that when you are getting email notifications from this program, they're not going to say Forever Concierge. They're going to say they're coming from MoveEasy. Now, when you're sending out an invitation, it's going to look like it's coming from you. But if you are communicating with the program, it's going to be coming from a moveeasy.com email address. Okay, so we'll go back to the ACE dashboard and we're going to click the Forever Concierge icon to go into our program. Okay, so when you first log in, if I come over to this left-hand menu and float it out, you'll see we're on the dashboard. From here, this left-hand menu, you can also access your vendors. You can look at your client engagements and you can take a look at your account. Now, they also have one-click easy buttons across the top where you can invite a client, add a vendor, or download the mobile app from either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. So if you want to get a link to download your mobile version, that's where you would find that right from your dashboard. Okay, so let's start out on the left-hand side. We're going to go to our account. There's a couple things here I want to show you. All right, so here are all your different tiles. You have your profile, your account settings. These are the email templates here. And here are the checklists you can provide to your client, which I mentioned before. So all of this information you can change and like personalize essentially for what you want it to say. So the first thing we're going to check out is under our profile, the onboarding checklist. This is actually a checklist for you on how to get started in this program. So automatically your account is activated. Okay. If you want to deactivate it, it tells you you go under account settings, automated client invitations to disable it. What that means is that this program is integrated with DocuSign transaction rooms. So once you have a client, either a buyer or a seller, under contract on a property, if you have entered their name and email on the details page of the DocuSign transaction room, they will automatically get an invitation to join Forever Concierge. So you don't have to do anything. Now, you will get an email alerting you when that invitation is getting ready to go out. And again, that will be coming from MoveEasy.com. So your options at that point are to just ignore the email, in which case your client will get the invitation, or there is an option within that initial email to opt out your client. So if you're working with someone like an investor that really isn't going to need any of these services, from that email, you can just say decline, and then they will not get an invitation into this system. If you do not want any of your clients to automatically get an invitation, you would follow these steps here. In that case, no one will get an invitation and you would have to manually enter all of your clients if you choose to do so. Second part is to complete your profile. So you would click the Update Now portion. It's going to default to your foxroach.com email address. If you would like to enter an additional address where you will receive notifications, you can do so here and add the email. All your company information is going to be pulled into here from ACE. And then you can add social media links if you choose to do so, which will show up on your branded dashboard when one of your clients is in there. Your picture should also automatically be here pulling from ACE, but if it's not, you can add a photo here as well. Okay, so once you've updated or at least checked out your profile to make sure it's correct, we'll go back. Third step they're telling you is that you can watch a recorded webinar. You're doing it here with me today instead, but here's just yet another place you can access a training video if you need additional help after this. And then step 4 is to view your dashboard, which is where we went when we started out. Okay. All right, so that was your onboarding checklist under your profile. Account settings, if you click the purple edit bar, this is where you would go if you wish to turn off that automated invitation. Okay, you can also add a secondary email address here and even a third one. So where you would change your password if you want to. If you do not want that automated client invitation to go out, you would click this toggle off. Disable office vendors. What this means is that there, for every office, should be a unique list of vendors that were entered by either your sales leader or your OA, someone from your office. If they had a list of preferred vendors that they've collected over the years, they would have loaded them into this system and it will show your clients those vendors as options in addition to whichever vendors you personally have added. If you do not want your clients to have access to those vendors and you only want them to see the ones that you are recommending, you can turn off that toggle. Now, you don't have to turn them all off because I'll show you in a bit when you're looking at your list of vendors, you can individually toggle off specific vendors. So if there happens to be one vendor that was recommended by your office in here, but you had a bad experience with them, you don't want your clients to use them, you can turn that individual off rather than the entire client list. Okay. So that's account settings. Email content. There's 3 different types of invitations. So there's an invitation for buyers who are moving. There is an invitation for sellers who are moving. And then there's an invitation for your sphere of influence, which would be all of your past clients. The invite for buyers or sellers is going to go out automatically, right? Based upon DTR. Once you've entered a closing date, their name and their email. The invite for the sphere of influence does not go out automatically, but it's what you can use to invite all of your past clients. Now, here is where you can look at what these emails will say and edit the template if you want to change it for, every person it's going to go to. So this one is geared towards buyers who are moving, so just keep that in mind. It has the email subject, tells them it's coming from you, but you can change that subject line if you choose to. And then below, you can read what the email will say when the invitation goes out, and you can click in here and edit this however you choose to do so. When you see where it says by broker name, that's the one thing you don't want to change because that's going to autofill with our company information. But any other part of this, you can edit. And if you click update invite content, that will be your new template going forward. So from that point forward, it will look the same to any buyer client that's being invited. If you want to preview what the email will look like, you can click send preview and send yourself a copy. Okay, so that's the one for buyers. Next is invite for sellers. It'll look pretty similar, but says a little bit of a different thing. You know, it's a little shorter. So again, you can change this, add some more personalized information if you would like to. If you want to save that as your template, hit update invite. Okay, and lastly, we have the invite for the sphere of influence, which I will show you how to send out. You can read through this. Okay, so it just basically explains what the program is, but you might want to add a little personal touch at the beginning that says, you know, even though you purchased your home 4 years ago, we have this exciting new tool that I still wanted to provide to you as one of my past clients. Something to those lines. So they know why they're all of a sudden getting this invitation, even though, you know, they haven't done a transaction with you for years. Okay. And if you want to, you can actually go back to where I showed you that video here, right? So in your ACE dashboard under Forever Concierge, you can go to the overview. You can actually click on this video, copy the link, and embed it into that invitation email, right? Because that way they don't just have to read about it, they can watch a quick little video. So that might be a good tip for all of you to embed that video into your invite emails. Okay, so that covers invitations. The next part of this that you can customize are the checklists that it will provide to your clients. Oh, Judith, what is a DRE number? So a DRE number, I believe, is a smart number, is sometimes what they're called as well. So if you have like a Google number that forwards to your cell phone because you don't want people to have your cell phone number, or if you have a smart number as part of a CRM program, I believe that's what that refers to. Good question. All right, custom checklists. So View My Checklist is going to be the standard checklist that's provided. This is not going to force your clients to use this checklist, but when they get the invitation and then they join, it's going to give them the option to use this checklist. And all the dates are going to be based upon their closing date or their moving date if it's different. So the invitation's going to go out based on the closing date entered in DTR. Once your client accepts the invitation and creates their account, it will ask them if their moving date is different. Sometimes we're dealing with a leaseback period or what have you. So if they enter a different moving date, all these dates here, 1 week before, 6 weeks before moving day, all of those dates are going to be run off of the moving date. And they will receive reminder emails if they opt to use this checklist, right? So we're not going to force your client to get a bunch of useless emails, but if they actually go in, fill out the checklist and opt in, they will get email reminders about what they need to do during their moving process. All right. So this can all be changed. You can delete things out of here if you don't think they're necessary, like create a moving binder. Who does that, right? So if you don't want that to be an option, you just go to the little trash can, click it, and it will take that step out. You can also change the order, or you can edit what any of these say. So if you don't want it to say create a moving binder, but you think there's something they should do that isn't included in this checklist, you can actually click the little pencil right here, change the name, change the description, change the days. So as you can see, it's entered as a negative, right? So you have to count backwards from the moving date. This is 7 weeks, which equals 49 days. So you're putting in negative however many days, depending upon when you want that step to fall. You're not going to change the URL. You can change the headline, and you can put in whether it's pre-move or post-move. So if you make any changes or edits to any item on this list, just click submit and it will save your changes. Once you have made changes to your custom checklist, once again, that will be the default for all of your clients. So if you do not want to change your default list, but you think you should have a different type of list for a different client, you can actually create additional lists. So if we go back to where we were, rather than view my checklist, which is your main default one, you can click add new checklist. Okay, so here you're going to actually create all the steps from scratch one by one. So you would name the type of checklist, you would describe it, you can have it be based on days to move, right? Enter the URL, you would still want to use that same MoveEasy.com URL and indicate whether it's a pre or post move. So if you do want to use, say you do work with a lot of investors and they don't need help with, setting up utilities or getting a moving truck or any of that nonsense, but you want to set up a checklist for them, like close out all your permits, get your certificate of occupancy, put a fire extinguisher in the kitchen, right? So if you want to create a custom checklist for a specific type of client you work with, here's how you would do that. Any questions on what we've covered so far on how to either change your email templates or your checklist templates? If so, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. Silence. So everybody's good thus far. Excellent. If at any point while I'm talking, you guys have a question, drop it in the chat. I'll see it pop up and we can pause. Okay, so I'm going back out to our account. And now we've covered everything from your account. Okay, you know what your onboarding checklist is. You can change your account settings and turn off the auto email or turn off the office vendor list. You can come over to email content and you can edit your invitation emails templates, remember. So it will change it for everyone moving forward. You can view and edit your checklist template, or you can create a custom checklist that will be available for different types of clients. All right. So now how do we get our clients in here, right? So let's say we're not talking about someone who has a closing coming up. Let's say you're taking this class today and you're like, wait a minute, I had a client a few weeks ago. I don't think they're in here. I don't know if that email went out. How do I know? So you can go to this next option on the left that says engagements. And this is going to show you all of your invitations that have gone out within a specific time period. Okay. So right now it's only looking from the beginning of the year to today's date. If you want to change that and go back and look, hey, I wonder if my, closing from October of last year got invited in here, you actually can just click on the date, come down here to custom range, right? Or you can either look at the last 6 months, everyone, last 3 months, everyone, etc. But if you need to go back further, you can go to custom range, come up here, you can change the year. So I want to look at 2021. I want to look at May of 2021. Then you're going to select an actual date. So you have to click on a day in the month. So I'm going to click on May 1st. Then I'm going to come over and right now you can see it's automatically doing it essentially for a 30-day period. So I would come down and I have to click on a day at the end of the time period as well. So I would click on June 30th. Then I would hit apply. And if there were any, I should have people here. I don't know where they are. That's interesting. Well, if you have people, they should show up here. Mine definitely should be. Maybe I went back too far. And again, these are only people that you opted to send them the invite or they opted to join. Let's try this. All right. You can also search by name. I know there's people in here. But anyway, that's how you check if you need to check. Or you can just, again, click on the date, do last 6 months, however you want to do it. Okay. Up at the top, you'll see an invite client button. So if you want to invite a past client that is not in this system, at the top, you would click invite client. You're going to, across the top here, select what type of client they are. This actually gives you the option of adding your buyer client into the system to get started before they're under contract. So remember, that invitation isn't going to go out until you have a contract in DTR and you've put in the closing date on the details page. So if you want to get your clients in here right away, so they have access to information like who are the utility providers, what moving company can I use, what types of home warranty programs are out there. If you want to be able to have them start looking around before they're under contract, by all means, you can come in and add them this way ahead of time. So you can put new buyer, is it a new seller that's going to have to move, or sphere of influence, again, would be your past clients, or frankly, anyone. Add your mom and dad if you want, doesn't matter, right? If you want them to have access to a list of vendors and a personal assistant, get them in here as well. So I've clicked on sphere of influence because I want to invite a previous client, and it's going to give you the option of adding an individual or invite multiple sphere contacts. So if you click that button, it's going to give you the option to upload a list of contacts from a spreadsheet or CSV file. So if you want to add a bunch of people at once, you can do so, or you can come in here and individually add them. Okay, so anything that has an asterisk, that's hard for me to say, is required information. So you need their first name, last name, and an email. If you have their phone number, that's helpful. You should have their current address. If you're just sending it to someone who is a homeowner but is not planning on moving, you do not have to fill in the approximate move-in date. But you can, if you remember when you closed with them. Here is that email that we looked at the template before. So if you had changed that template, it would look different here. But it's also giving you the opportunity to change the individual email going out. So even if you didn't change your template, you can still change it out on a case-by-case basis, depending on who it's going to. Now, it doesn't have a greeting showing here, but it is auto embedded when it goes out. So it will say hello, whoever the client's name is. So once you have that email all good to go, you scroll all the way to the bottom and click send email. Okay. So that is how you would invite a past client. All right, so we've covered clients. Anybody have any questions on how to add a client, look for a client? You know what? I really want to find a client so I can show you what the engagements look like. So why mine aren't coming up, I don't know. Let me try one more time because I had someone pulled up. I do March 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2021. This is going to bother me. You know what? I can't see if it's loading because I've got all of you up here. Let me see. Why is it not? That's going to bug me. Oh, I want this to be May. What? I love that it's only when I'm teaching that something doesn't work, because I was in here 5 minutes before we got on and was looking at my client. So I have no idea what is happening right now. All right. Well, I don't want to waste any more time on that. If we have time at the end, we'll come back. But essentially, you can read across the top the information it's going to give you. Okay. So you would have your client's name, their email would show up, their phone number would show up, the date they were invited, what their move date was if they entered a different date other than the closing date. And then where it says action, there would be a little 3-dot menu that you can click on, and it would give you a list of actions you can take with that client, like a follow-up email, a check-in, invite them again in case they didn't actually start using the program. They may have lost the link, whatever. That's what should be there. So I apologize that for whatever reason, it doesn't want to pull it up. All right, so that's all under engagements. Next biggest section here is vendors. So we're on the left-hand side slide out menu. I'm going to click on vendors. Okay. So when you first are in your vendors tab, the very first thing they're showing you is, hey, you want to easily look up who the utility providers are? Here you go. So all you have to do is put in an address, select it from the drop-down menu, and there you go. It is now telling me who, for this property, here is the electric provider, the gas provider, it has their contact information, water provider, and the trash provider. Now, keep in mind that this is just based on location. So this is a perfect example because this is my house, right? So it says the water provider is New Jersey American Water because that's who in this area. However, my house has a well. So that's not actually my water provider. So it's only based on location. Please keep that in mind. Okay. Now, if you need help, there's a contact support button here right at the bottom. So if for some reason one of these providers isn't showing up, you can contact support at MoveEasy.com and they can further investigate for you. This is probably my favorite part of this entire program, as simple as it is, and I use it all the time. I don't have to reach out to the listing agent and say, hey, can you ask your sellers who the utility providers are? I can, don't have to tell my clients. I can just come in here and in 30 seconds be like, yep, here is all of it. And under every single thing, you can copy the information. So it's really easy to just copy and paste an email to your client, etc. So that's kind of my favorite little part of this. All right, so across the top, if you don't want to look up utility providers, but you want to look at vendors, we would go to the next one. So vendors is where, if you want, you can add your vendors. Now, remember, there's a quick one-touch button at the top for either inviting a client or adding an individual vendor. But if you want to add multiple vendors, you can do so here. So this is our vendor list. Okay. And as you can see over here where it says added by, it's going to tell you whether it was from the office list or it will say realtor, which means you've added them yourself. Okay, so it's going to give the name of who they are, what type of vendor they are, who added them, and then here's that 3-dot menu, which would look the same as it would with your clients. And that's not working either. This program must be glitchy today. All right, well, if you need to search vendor list, right, it's going to default to your office, but you can select what type are you looking for, right? I need an attorney. I'm going to select attorney, apply filter. I know I have attorneys in here. What in the Sam? Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, it's actually click on my office. I apologize. So you're going to click your office list, write attorneys or whatever type, apply filters, and now it's going to give you a list of all the attorneys added by the office. Okay. That was the vendors option here. Now, if I want to go to view my vendors, it's going to look a little bit more like it would when your client is looking at it. I'm going to give it a minute to load here. Okay, so this is essentially what it would look like if a client of yours were looking into your vendor dashboard. Okay, so it gives them the same kind of search, I need help with, and they can choose from the drop-down menu, which as you can see is extensive. There's all different types of vendors in here. Okay, so if they need a roofing contractor, they would select that. That tile would pop up for them. And then here are the agent preferred vendors. So these are vendors that you yourself have provided. It's always going to show your clients your preferred vendors first. If you do not have any vendors listed in your system, but there is one from the office list, it will show them those. If you do not have any vendors in this category and there's none from the office list, there will be an option here instead to contact their personal concierge. So even if there's no vendors on this list, your client still does not have to go around looking for themselves or reach out to you and ask the question. They can contact their personal concierge, which is a real life person, tell them what they need help finding. That concierge will then look into that type of vendor. They will compare them all. They will make sure that they are licensed. They're a member of the Better Business Bureau. They're not just going to recommend, you know, Joe Schmo on a whim because that's the first person they found when they did a Google search. They're going to do the research on behalf of your client and then present them with options. Now, if your client wants to get quotes for more than one company, they can actually just check off multiple people, hit confirm vendors, and set it up themselves. Or yet again, they can pick their vendors, let the concierge know, and the concierge can make the phone calls and set up the appointments. So at every part of the process, your client can do it themselves, or they can opt to reach out to the personal concierge who will take care of it for them. There is both a chat option, a phone number option, and an email option for that personal concierge. In addition, it's covered in that intro video. So if you go back and watch that, this system will integrate with Alexa. So they can be cooking dinner and say, hey, Alexa, look for a roofing contractor in Forever Concierge. or hey, Alexa, call my concierge. So that's pretty cool. They can also download the mobile app and do it from the fly as well. They will have access to that in their dashboard. Okay, so that's kind of what it would look like if your client is searching. From the Add Vendor button at the top, this is how you would add an individual vendor one at a time. And again, anything with a little asterisk is required information. So you have to put the name. If they have a website, you can put the vendor URL. If there's an individual person at that company you want them to contact, you can put that name, their email address, and a telephone number is required. Underneath that, you're going to select again from the extensive drop-down menu what type of vendor they are. And then it has a list of counties. So it seems to always, for me at least, default to Camden. I don't know why, that makes no sense to me, but if they are specific counties that this person covers, again, you can take out Camden, click in here, you're going to get a drop-down menu for the entire Bright footprint. So that's Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Okay, or you can just start typing and then your options will come up. So if it's a Gloucester vendor, but they also cover Salem County, you can add multiple counties here. If you happen to be like good partners with this vendor and you have access to their logo and they can give it to you, you can actually upload their logo here. And that way, when your client is looking, where were we back? I might have closed it. When they're looking here, right? Rather than just having this little blank, it will have their actual logo right there. You can probably just grab a screenshot off a website if you want to too. But all right, so once you've entered all of their information, you would click Add Vendor. They will get added to your list as an agent preferred vendor. Now, if you are one of those super organized people and you have kept a running list of all your vendors, it will give you the option to add multiple vendors. And rather than trying to figure out how to upload that file yourself, you just email them right here. You would click this help@moveeasy.com, send them your list of vendors. They will take care of getting all of your vendors in here. Okay, so I just went back out to my vendor list here. And something I just wanted to point out is that it's only showing you a certain number at a time. So if you're trying to come through here and find someone, look down here at the bottom right. I forgot to show all of you this, right? It's only going to show you whatever it is, 10 or 12 at a time. So you would just have to keep hitting next to scroll through the pages to find all of your vendors. And I don't know why the three, there it goes. Okay, maybe I'm just moving too fast. So if you hover over the three dots next to a vendor, this is how I was saying you can disable a specific vendor if you choose to do so. So you would go to your vendor list, you would hover over the three dots, you can edit them if you have, let's say, their website changed or their phone number changed. You can delete them all together. If it's an office vendor, you might not allow you to delete them, I'm not sure, in which case you can just disable them. And that way they will not show up when your client is looking at your vendor list. Okay, any questions on vendors? No. Okay, cool. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys, this is an email that was sent out to everyone. I believe it was back the beginning of March. Yep, March 7th, right here, coming from help@moveeasy.com. They were letting us know that there's a new layout for the homeowner dashboard and what that's going to look like. So if you want to preview what your clients are going to see when they get that invitation email and click on the link, you can find this email from March 7th, 2022 from help@moveeasy.com. You can click right here. We're a little slow today. I apologize. There it goes. So when they receive that invitation email and they click on the link to set up their account, this is what it's going to look like. So you can see our company is branded here. You are branded with your cell phone number on the upper right. They would enter their name, their email, their phone number, and create their password and click Get Started. And to the right of that, it gives them information about what this is, right? So it's your lifetime move and home management assistant. Before the move, it can help them find information on title companies, home insurance, mortgages, home warranties, and a whole lot more. During the move, it will help them not only find the utility companies, but also set up the utility company accounts if they want concierge help. It will help them with setting up internet and cable, finding a moving service, and contacting home security companies if they want to have a home security system. And then it explains that even after you've moved, and even if you moved years ago, concierge service hasn't ended. You get lifetime access to top-rated home pros for your home improvement and home maintenance needs. And then it just gives them a couple of examples of what types of vendors they're talking about. Keep going down. As a valuable client, you can access all these services via the channel of your choice for free for life. And it shows them there's a desktop version. Here's Alexa. There is a mobile app and on a tablet as well. All right, so this is what your clients are going to see when they click that invitation. All right, does anybody have any questions? Either unmute yourself and ask away or drop them in the chat. I have silence. Nobody has any questions. Super easy, hopefully, and that's why, right? Excellent. So before I let you go, I'm just going to show you one more time where you can go get some additional resources. So if you want to, somebody's in the chat. Looks easy. You're welcome, Julie. It is easy. That's why I love it. And I hope you all kind of can see what the value of this is going to be, right? It makes you look like a freaking rock star and you are not doing anything. All you all have to do is go in here and start adding your vendors, right? That's pretty much the only work you have to do. Once you have vendors in there, go back and invite all your past clients into here. Who knows? Maybe they'll get the invitation and be like, you know what? This is super cool. I actually am thinking about selling my house, but I need to get my roof replaced or whatever before I do it. So it's a good conversation starter. All right, we got a question, sorry. Where can we watch this replay? Oh, hey, I will post it to my YouTube channel once the video is finished uploading, and I'll send out that link via email like I always do, but I'm actually about to show you where you can find some other webinars as well, okay? So if you're in your, let me close out the 8,000 things I have open right now. So if you're in your ACE dashboard and you type in Forever or Forever Concierge or Concierge, any portion of it, two things will pop up. The link to the actual dashboard will pop up, and then the overview information will pop up. So if you click on this link for the overview, it's going to give you a video which explains what the program is to your clients. So you can share this, or you can embed it in your invitation email. And then it's going to give you a recorded training webinar. All right, so you can come in here and watch this, or you can rewatch what I just taught you. I'll send that link out in a day or so, depending on when it's finished uploading to YouTube. All right, so those are two great resources you should be aware of. In addition, as always, in the ACE dashboard, under the Education tab, which is this purple graduation hat, you go to the second purple graduation hat, which is Help Documents and Videos, and you're going to go to a Google site with all of the company tools listed alphabetically. So you would go down here until you see Forever Concierge. Click on the Documents and Videos link. Okay, here it explains what it is, what the benefit is, what your branded web page link is. So I actually didn't mention that. That's a good thing. In addition to inviting clients into here and putting them in manually, if you want to actually just share out a link to your branded Forever Concierge to everyone, for example, on social media, your branded link is always going to be your first name hyphen last name foreverconcierge.com. Right, so you guys can use that branded link to share that out if you want. But within this Google site are all the help documents. So these are going to be the printable worksheets basically, and it's broken down, you can see, into bite-sized pieces. So if you just forgot how to send an invite, you can pull up instructions on that specific thing. You don't have to read through the entire thing. This question mark is a facts section. And then below that are your help videos. And again, it's broken down a little bit for you. So the concierge introduction, video on the entire system, and what it does for your client. Okay, so those are additional training resources if you need more information after we are off today. All right, so that was everything I wanted to show you guys. Thanks for taking the time to attend. Once again, I will follow up with an email either today or tomorrow with a link to this recorded class. If you have any other questions, please use your tech specialist in your office as a resource. You can ask questions of your sales leader. Reach out to me as well if you have any questions on this. Thank you, everyone. If everyone's good, I'll let you all go. Thanks, Judith. All right, everybody, have a great day. I'll see you next week.